Imagine two people. One earns $60,000 a year. Average job, average apartment, average life by most definitions. The other earns $200,000 to $20,000. Top performer, major city. The person who worked harder, pushed further, and got the outcome that was supposed to come with that. Here's the question worth sitting with. Which one is more free? The obvious answer is the second person. More money means more options, more security, more ability to do what you want. But here's what actually tends to happen. The person earning $60,000 has modest fixed costs, a rent they can cover, a lifestyle they can maintain on less. If they lost their job tomorrow, they could survive for a year on savings, move back home, take a lower paying job, and adjust. The gap between what they earn and what they need is manageable. The person earning $220,000 has a mortgage calibrated to their income, a lifestyle their social circle expects, schools for their kids in the right neighborhood, a car that signals the right things, a wardrobe, a gym, restaurants, a vacation budget, all set to match who they've become. If they lost their job tomorrow, the math gets terrifying fast. This isn't a financial failure, it's something more specific. It's the trap that ambition builds. The mechanism here has a name. Economists call it lifestyle inflation, but that term makes it sound like a choice, like someone simply decided to spend more as they earned more. The reality is messier. When your income rises, your reference points change. The apartment you celebrated getting at 24 starts to feel small at 31. The car you were proud of starts to feel like it belongs to a different version of you. These aren't vanity decisions. They're social recalibrations. Your environment updates itself. Your expectations update with it. And here's the part that makes it a trap rather than just a pattern. It only moves in one direction. You've never heard of someone voluntarily downgrading, taking the smaller apartment, the older car, the lower status restaurant, and finding that it felt like relief. The psychology doesn't work that way. What you've had becomes your baseline. Dropping below it doesn't feel like simplicity. It feels like failure. Psychologists call this the ratchet effect. Life is easy to ratchet up, nearly impossible to ratchet down, and ambitious people wired to always push to the next level, ratchet faster than anyone. Now add ambition into this. Ambitious people don't just drift into lifestyle inflation, they accelerate through it because every raise, every promotion, every milestone comes with a corresponding upgrade. You got the bonus, you deserve the apartment, you made partner, you need the car. You hit the milestone, the vacation is earned. These feel like rewards. They feel like the point of the work, but each reward quietly raises what you require to maintain your sense of self. And what you require to maintain your sense of self, Bupri, is what now owns you. There's a phrase that circulates in finance, law, and medicine, industries full of high-earning, high-performing people. It's called golden handcuffs. The idea is simple. The compensation is so good, so carefully structured to increase over time that leaving becomes mathematically unthinkable. You stay not because you want to, but because the cost of not staying is too high. What's interesting is that golden handcuffs don't require an employer to install them. Ambitious people install them on themselves. There's another layer that doesn't get discussed enough. When you're ambitious, your social circle tends to be ambitious too. And ambitious social circles have their own hidden pressure systems. The restaurant where your colleagues go, the neighborhood where people at your level live, the gym, the conference, the trip. Nobody is forcing you into anything, but these function as soft baselines. Drop below them and you feel it in small, uncomfortable ways, in the way conversations shift, in what gets talked about and what doesn't. This is what the psychologist Leon Festinger identified as social comparison theory. We don't evaluate our circumstances in absolute terms. We evaluate them relative to the people around us. And when the people around you are also ambitious, also accelerating, the baseline keeps rising. The person earning $60,000 and feeling fine probably has a reference group earning $55,000 to $80,000. The gap is small. The feeling is stability. The person earning $220,000 and feeling stretched has a reference group earning $300,000 to $500,000. The gap is enormous. The feeling is inadequacy. More income, more comparison, less peace. And here's the cruelest part. The solution most ambitious people reach for is to earn more, which moves them further into the reference group they're trying to keep up with, which raises the baseline again. It's not a ladder, it's a treadmill disguised as a ladder. There's a specific pattern in the lives of ambitious people that rarely gets named out loud. One more year. As in, if I just do one more year at this level, one more year of this pace, this income, this output, I'll have enough to do what I actually want. The problem is that one more year tends to become permanent, not because the person is lying to themselves, but because every year that passes at this income level upgrades the lifestyle, raises the fixed costs, deepens the identity, and makes enough a higher number. Researchers who study early retirement communities, people who deliberately left high-earning careers, documented this pattern consistently. The most common regret wasn't leaving too early. It was spending years trapped in one more year, thinking while the lifestyle costs kept rising to match the income they were accumulating. Enough is not a fixed amount. Enough is whatever you have, plus a little more. The reframe that actually helps here isn't about earning less. It's about understanding what financial freedom actually is. Freedom isn't a number. Freedom is a ratio. It's the gap between what you earn and what your life requires to function. You can have that gap at $60,000. You can destroy it at $500,000. The variable that matters isn't income. It's the spread between income and need. Ambitious people are unusually good at growing income. They're often systematically terrible at protecting the gap because every time income grows, lifestyle grows to meet it. The gap never widens. Sometimes it shrinks. This is why actual financial independence, not the appearance of it, but the real thing, often belongs to the people who earn reasonably and spend well below it. Not the highest earners, not the most ambitious, the ones who left the gap alone. The uncomfortable conclusion here isn't that ambition is wrong. It's that ambition without a specific, deliberate intention tends to build a very comfortable version of trapped. You work harder, you earn more, you accumulate a life that looks from the outside like the reward. And then you realize, quietly, often somewhere around 3 a.m., that you can't stop. Not because you don't want to, but because the life you built while trying to get free now requires you to keep running. There's a question worth asking yourself sometime when you're honest enough to actually sit with it. If your income dropped by 40% tomorrow, not to nothing, just by 40%, what would actually have to change? And is the distance between your answer and where you are right now, the gap you've been calling freedom?